Well, let's welcome in our guest, Michael Connelly, constitutional attorney, who joins us. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Doing fine, Steve. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. I want you to hear what Bret Baier was referring to, this very troubling portion of an interview on NPR. Here's cut 12.
Seizing records from reporters is unusual, so unusual that I asked the Attorney General how often he'd done it over the years.
I'm not sure how many of those cases that I have actually signed off on. I take them very seriously. I know that I have refused to sign a few, pushed a few back for modifications.
What does that say to you, Michael?
Well, it says that they've launched an all-out assault on the First Amendment. They're doing it with the freedom of speech through the IRS scandal, and then with the DOJ going after records, phone records of media institutions. They're after the Fourth Amendment. They're after the freedom of the press and the First Amendment. It's part of an all-out assault on the Constitution in this country that's been going on in the Obama administration since he took office.
Well, specifically with regard to the records, everyone's making a big deal, rightfully so, and we've all talked about the AP grab. But what Eric Holder so casually, glossed over in that interview by saying, yeah, no, this isn't the first time. Yeah, I don't know how many I've signed. I rejected a few, but I've signed many more. I mean, so there are media outlets and reporters and maybe switchboard operators and even wives of media reporters out there who have had their phone records, according to the Attorney General, taken also, and they don't even know it.
Exactly. We need to find out who he's done it to. The Congress needs to look into this. There needs to be a special prosecutor appointed here, because obviously you can't have Eric Holder investigating Eric Holder or investigating the White House for that matter, because we don't know where this originated, whether it was with Holder or it was within the White House itself. So there needs to be a special prosecutor appointed. If that doesn't happen, then we have to have the Congress get more aggressive than ever in investigating exactly what's going on here.
Well, I doubt you'll get a special prosecutor. The Attorney General was asked if there'd be a special prosecutor on the IRS scandal, and he said no. And also, the president was asked if he would welcome a special prosecutor for the IRS scandal, and he said he was satisfied with the investigations by Congress and the Justice Department and the FBI that they would be able to handle it. But with regard to the AP scandal, the president said that he has no regret, no apologies, because national security was involved, et cetera, et cetera. Alberto Gonzales said yesterday, former Attorney General under Bush, that he can remember a case specifically where something like this came into play, but they decided not to sign that warrant and do it. I had Attorney General Casey on who talked about it. I had Judy Miller, who went to jail to protect her sources. She said this is unprecedented. It just seems to me that it's going to be a matter now of a pick and choose which scandal to focus on, because it's almost like it was a scandal dump. You know how they do document dumps on a Friday night at 5 o'clock? This seems like a scandal dump that we've gotten them all at once.
Exactly, and the president is lying again, and so is Eric Holder when they talk about this being something involving national security. The AP has said, and I have no reason not to believe them, that they withheld publishing this story for a week until they were cleared by the administration. They were told that they would not be harming national security. They would not be putting anybody in danger. They were told they could run the story. So I don't think that the going after the phone records of the AP reporters had anything to do with this so-called leak. I think it had to do with Eric Holder wanting to find out who they were talking to, whether or not they were talking to certain conservative members of Congress, who else they were talking to that might be whistleblowers within the administration. This was a clear violation of the right to privacy of the people who were targeted, and it's a clear violation of freedom of the press.
And again, Michael, what you and I know is so egregious here is that he made a point of saying, and by the way, this Attorney General is either as arrogant as the president, where they feel that they don't, the records, like, when did you recuse yourself? He was asked yesterday over, I don't know. I didn't write it down. I don't know. I mean, incredible that he doesn't know when he recused himself. But my point is, that he was asked when he mentioned that this has been done before, and he doesn't even know how many times. So he went out of his way to point out that this AP thing was done because this story, this national security breach or whatever, was so huge and lives were at stake. But yet he glossed over the others as saying, well, yeah, I don't even remember how many others I did, and he didn't feel the need to justify any of them. So I'm just so troubled that this could be, this scale of this could be huge.
Absolutely, and it's amazing how much the Attorney General and the President of the United States and Janet Napolitano, they don't know anything when they go before Congress. And the President doesn't know anything when he's asked by reporters. These are the people that are in charge. These are the people where the buck stops. Yet they don't know, apparently, according to them, that they don't have any idea what's going on in their own departments or in the administration.
Well,
it's all just unbelievable, and, we have to get to the bottom of it. As far as I'm concerned, this and the IRS scandal are going to turn into impeachable offenses before this is over.
Well, the President today was asked about when he knew about the whole IRS deal, and he answered the question by saying he did not know about the report until everybody else found out about the report. He kind of sidestepped the answering when he knew about the irregularities going on with the IRS, and of course, we've heard about these for years. Turns out they've been going on for 3 years. Group after group after group has complained publicly and privately, and this is nothing new at all. I mean, you'd have to be so insulated and so out of it. And so for a man who supposedly watches the cable news shows that are both favorable and not favorable to him, how could he not have known the accusations against the IRS?
Exactly. Well, Jay Carney admitted today that somebody in the White House probably had heard about this several years ago. They had to, because there were complaints being made to the White House by members of Congress who were upset about this. I had complaints coming to me from Tea Party groups here in Texas several years ago. So I knew what was going on. So the White House had to know, and the question is who in the White House was involved in this, because I don't think this was anything that originated with a couple of low-level employees in the IRS. It was the president's enemies that they were after.
When it's the State Department in Benghazi, it's the State Department, but it's not Hillary. When it's the White House and IRS, it's the White House, but it's not Obama. It's just incredible, and I don't know if we'll ever get to the truth, but I certainly hope we do. I thank you for your time, Michael. Michael Connelly, the constitutional attorney from down